I live in Phuket, and I heard that they were going to be shooting some of this latest season in Phuket. Turns out they didn't shoot all that much in Phuket. Most of it was shot in Koh Samui. But I'm going to just talk about what it felt like, what the portrayal of Thailand was like from somebody who actually lives here. So first things, what did it get right? I would say overall, I think it got quite a lot right. I didn't feel like anything was particularly badly portrayed or inaccurately portrayed. It's obviously a very American perspective. It's an American show. It's designed to appeal to US viewers and, well, obviously Westerners, I suppose, mainly. So you have to look at it through that lens. And also it's a satire on the excesses of Western culture, American culture, and things like that. It was shot in Thailand. They did use real resorts. They're not sets. I'm not aware that there are any sets in there. Most of them were, high-end hotels, of course. But there was a lot of jumping around and locations. Of course, they would arrive in one location, which would be in Phuket. Then next time you see them, they're at their hotel, which is presumably supposed to be the same location, but they're actually in Koh Samui, which is nowhere near. Different ocean, different sea. Overall, watching the show, I didn't feel like they made any big faux pas or anything like that. There is mention of balding, middle-aged white men going to Thailand, but it is true. Yes, you do get lots of older Western men coming here. I used to see these sort of guys when I used to work in a bar a long time ago, when I was younger. They're the sort of guys who would come in every day, drinking at lunchtime, and then back in the evening, drinking all evening. Yeah, these sort of guys migrate over to places like Thailand, and behave exactly the same kind of way, except they have more money over here relative to how far it would stretch back at home. And yeah, it's quite an accurate portrayal. Sam Rockwell's character is another one in this. Obviously, he's intentionally quite strange, but I'm sure there are lots of quite strange people, quite strange Western men who come over here as well. So yeah, I mean, it is the LBH thing. It is a phenomenon. I hadn't heard that before. A little bit close to home, right? But yeah, I am not a drunk, and I do not behave the way these LBHs behave, I don't think. At least I hope not. So this wellness tourism aspect in the show, they went to a luxury wellness resort. So unless you're going somewhere like that, it's kind of hard to compare, I suppose. There are places like that. There are retreats and things like that. I haven't been to one, but I know one friend wanted to go and do a meditation course, like a full-on meditation course. He decided to take himself to a temple, 5-hour drive or something to get to this temple or more. And he stayed there for a week. And he said that when he got there, people didn't understand what he was doing. It was all Thai people, all Thai Buddhists, and they didn't know why he was there. It's not that he wasn't welcome, but he was in over his head, because the whole week was just pure meditation, basically. Meditation all day. You're not supposed to move, you're not supposed to talk. There was very little food, and he did it, but it wasn't a great way to start to go into that sort of thing. He'd really gone to an advanced meditation retreat. I don't think I would have enjoyed it. It sounded a bit hardcore meditation of all things. So another thing they got right, aspects of Thai life and culture, full moon parties. That is a Koh Samui thing more, I think. They do have full moon parties in Phuket. There's one place I know that does them. I haven't been to one because it's just not really my kind of thing. I don't think they're quite as wild as they're made out to be in the show, to be honest. Muay Thai is everywhere. There's loads of Muay Thai gyms. Lots of Westerners come over here just to do the Muay Thai. People come on holidays to just spend a couple of weeks training at Muay Thai gyms. Buddhist imagery. Yes, Buddhism is the predominant religion in Thailand here, at least, and it is depicted fairly accurately, I suppose. Those sort of temples are everywhere. I mean, that kind of retreat isn't very common. There are places that do that sort of thing, but not every temple offers that kind of retreat. That's not the case. But temples are generally places that are very open, You can just wander in, have a look around, spend some time there. I know some of the ones in Chiang Mai that I saw, the monks have little kind of drop-in sessions where you can just go and talk to a monk. And it's really just so the monks can improve their English and practice talking to foreigners. And you get to, chat to a monk, find out what their life is like. When I was in Chiang Mai, I went on a tour, a full-day tour, which I turned out to be the only person on the tour. So I had it all to myself, and I had the guide to myself, and he was an ex-monk. He'd been a monk for a long time, and he'd had to stop being a monk so that he could look after his family, his mother. So now he was a tour guide, but he was a really interesting guy to talk to, because I got to learn a lot more about what it is to be a monk and what it is to live after having been a monk as well. And Songkran, of course, there's a section in there where the three women leave the hotel and they want to go and look around town, and they end up getting squirted with water, and the Russian guy, their guide, says, "Oh, it's just Songkran," as if it's like an everyday thing, and that's just normal. Songkran's a big deal over here. Songkran is New Year, I think that's right. It's the Thai New Year, not just Thailand, other surrounding countries. I think the whole thing originated in India, and has kind of spread and become a different kind of water festival in different regions. But Songkran's massive. People come here just for Songkran because it's turned into a massive water fight, and it's really good fun. So the fact that these characters went and they didn't know it was Songkran seems a bit strange. I think you would probably know. Maybe if you were just going to a luxury resort and you hadn't really looked at anything outside what the luxury resort offers, maybe you wouldn't know it was Songkran, but I find it a bit hard to believe that they would have just been wandering around having no idea that it was Songkran. Somebody would have mentioned it because it's a big deal. But the fact that they're getting splashed like that and soaked like that, yeah, it's very, very accurate. That is what Songkran is. And there are different kinds of personalities, I suppose, around Songkran. There are people who hate it, which the characters in the White Lotus would fall into because they didn't know what was going on and they thought they were just being attacked because they were American or something. Maybe there was some of that. Songkran is a lot of fun as long as you're okay with getting absolutely soaked. And you will, if you just walk around as a tourist, you will get buckets of ice water thrown over you multiple times throughout the day in Songkran, and you will get squirted with water. You will get so wet you won't be able to quite believe how much water can be thrown at you. So it's accurate, but I think their reactions were a bit strange for me. Being kind of scared that they were getting squirted with water. You would look around and realise that everybody was doing it to everybody, not just you. But it's nice that there was a nod to Songkran. Massage culture and is part of the whole wellness thing again, I suppose. And yeah, Thai massage is everywhere. They're on beaches, they're in hotels, they're on the high streets, they're on any streets. Massage is everywhere. It varies in quality, and there's different kinds of massage, of course. They go to happy endings, and yeah, that happens. You can find places if you want that. You can go to somewhere like Patong, where you'll find any kind of adult entertainment that you want in somewhere like Patong, or Pattaya is another place. So yeah, it is real. It does happen. It's more part of foreigner culture, I suppose, than Thai culture. So what did it miss? What did they get wrong, in my opinion? Common criticisms. Peripheral Thai characters. So there are two main Thai characters. They kind of just exist to serve the Westerners' storylines and plots, really. They've got Lisa Manobal, who I'm sure I've seen her face, but I didn't really know her because, I'm not really into that kind of music, but she's a super, super famous singer. And she was doing her first acting role as as the Thai love interest. Her role doesn't really develop, her character doesn't really develop. So they've kind of marginalised the Thai characters and simplified them, and they haven't really developed them. They could have done a lot more with them, I think. Also, two Thai characters' speech is very kind of upper class. They sound like they've gone to posh schools, I suppose. So it's not really very believable that they will be working as a security guard and like a wellness coach in a hotel, to be honest, from the way they talk at least. And I've heard the guy, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, the security guard actor, the Thai guy's name. I don't know his name, I'm sorry about that, I should have looked it up. I've heard him speaking English as well, and he speaks excellent English. His accent is really, really nice. He speaks really, really well. So it doesn't surprise me that his Thai is also sounding like he's quite upper class. Orientalism stereotypes. Thailand is used as just an aesthetic backdrop, really, so I suppose that's a bit of a criticism. Also, the yellow filter. I don't know if you've noticed this before. You see it in American shows, things like Breaking Bad did this a lot when they went to Mexico. Anytime there's an American who goes to a hot country that they think is a bit poor, or at least poorer than the US, they put this kind of yellow filter over it, which sort of emphasizes that it's a warm country, but it also implies that it's a poor country. That's definitely present in the post-production grading choices. They've used this yellow filter again. I mean, I didn't find it offensive or anything, but it's just one of those silly US things. It's not necessary. It's like if you're not in the US, then you get a yellow filter if you're in a hot country because you're different and poor. There's no need for that. I think they could have been a bit more intelligent about it, maybe. Intelligent grading choices. It looks great, but it's just a common trope, I suppose. There's a lot of talk of dangerous animals. The dangerous animals thing, I think that more serves the storylines and the setting. Kind of the mood that they were trying to create was kind of a menacing, foreboding mood because, of course, they were setting up some kind of... Well, they were setting up what happened in the end, of course, if you've watched the show. But the dangerous animals thing... Yeah, I mean, apparently they've got some of this wrong in Koh Samui. They don't have wild monkeys. They do have them in Phuket. There's Monkey Hill in Phuket, which is home to hundreds and hundreds of wild monkeys. And, they can be dangerous. I've had them jump on me before, and it's not nice. And I don't want them to bite me, because if they bite me, I've got to go and have tetanus shots or something like that. Monitor lizards. Accurate. There are big monitor lizards that you do see around, more in places like beaches, or if you're off the beaten track, you might see monitor lizards. Also in the centre of Bangkok, you get lots of really big monitor lizards in the centre of Bangkok. I think they live in the river, they live in the parks. Yeah, if you're not used to it, it can be a bit scary. They look like basically dinosaurs wandering around the parks in Bangkok. So there were some factual and atmospheric inaccuracies. They talked about the tsunami from 2004, that a lot of people died in that tsunami, but they said it was in Koh Samui when it's wrong sea. It didn't hit Koh Samui at all. It did hit Phuket quite badly, and the kind of dark, ominous feel that they were trying to get across does kind of clash with Thailand, really. It doesn't feel like that. And the amount of violence portrayed in the show, and gun violence, and just the number of guns that are in that show, even though it's not that many, but there's an armed robbery, and then the hotel staff get a gun. You don't see guns very much in Thailand. Sometimes you might see guns if you're in a bank, and the security guard in the bank might have a gun. But guns are not anywhere near as common as they are in the US, obviously. The idea of there being an armed robbery like that in a hotel, very unusual. The crime is quite low. Although Russians committing those crimes, yeah, I mean, you do hear about Russians. There are a lot of Russians in Thailand, and a lot of the time, if you hear about incidents in the news to do with tourists, a lot of the time it is Russians. So that's kind of accurate in a way. But, the idea that these Russians came over here and then the only way that they could get by was by being armed jewelry robbers or something, and then they just get away with it, I don't think so. Not fantastic writing in my view. The White Lotus effect. So it's brought an awful lot of attention, of course, and tourism. A lot of people now talking about Thailand, talking about Koh Samui and Phuket, and it does bring a lot of people to the islands. So great for Thailand if they always want more tourists generally. But of course it does bring up the conversation around over-tourism and sustainability, etc. Islands, particularly Koh Samui, can have water shortages. They don't seem to have enough reservoirs on the island, I presume. Phuket is generally okay. It doesn't generally run out of water in Phuket. It never has since I've been here. There are big reservoirs in different parts of the island. Koh Samui gets a lot of its water from the mainland. Yeah, they can run out of water there. So from my perspective, did the tourist types and situations feel familiar in Phuket? I haven't really seen those kind of people, those kind of extreme characters, but it's a TV show. They are supposed to be extreme characters to make it interesting to watch, and you're not supposed to like them all. So the LBH thing, loser back home, bald guys, white bald guys, shut up, men in their 50s generally, who tend to go out and drink a lot of alcohol. Yeah, those people, that's quite accurate, to be honest. And when I first saw that, I thought, did they really call them LBHs? I don't know. I haven't heard that before. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Who cares? Expat Bubble, accurate portrayal, isolation versus integration. There is definitely an expat bubble because, most expats don't learn Thai, which means you are quite restricted in your interactions with people and how well you can integrate into society. So there is an expat bubble, yeah. People like me who, I did try learning Thai, but I found it really, really hard. I didn't do very well. I would really need to start over again. And it would be useful to learn some Thai. You can talk to Thai people, of course. Most Thai people in resorts like Phuket speak some English at least. But yes, there is an expat bubble. That's quite accurate. Another one is the hotel staff. I was quite surprised that there weren't more Thai hotel staff. They have, a German manager, I think. They have an Australian woman who's helping helping them with their wellness treatments and things like that. They have an Indian woman in there who's giving treatments, and that isn't really very accurate. There would be a lot more Thai people. You don't tend to see foreigners in those jobs. You see Thai people and Burmese people, and far more of the people will be Burmese that you will meet. Far more of the hotel staff will be Burmese than you will realize. Most Westerners wouldn't be able to tell a Thai person from a Burmese person. A lot of the time, Westerners are not allowed to do those jobs. Those sort of roles are just for either Thai or Burmese generally. So yeah, not that accurate and a bit over Westernized, I think, in that respect. So I think overall it's a great advert for Thailand. It's a good show. I quite enjoyed it, although obviously not going to give away any spoilers, but the ending could have been better. I think there was some big flaws in the writing. Things like when Rick had been in Bangkok and he did the thing he did in Bangkok, no spoilers, then he returned to the hotel owned by the people that he just wronged. Why would you go back to the same hotel? Obviously they know you're staying in that hotel, and they would have called the police and got him arrested. Anyway, that's another matter. In terms of how well it represents Thailand, not bad. There are things that don't sit right, that don't sit very well, but that's from the perspective of someone living in Thailand. And you have to remember, of course, the show is not made. It's not intended for that audience. It's intended for a Western audience. So I don't think they did a bad job at all, to be honest. But they did fall into some obvious, well-trodden traps that a lot of shows fall into if they are trying to portray other countries that are, maybe not considered to be first world countries. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you on the next one.